So today I'm going to take inlet manifold off, sensors off. I just started taking the injectors off, injector plugs off. I'll strip this whole inlet manifold off the engine, and I'll just show you what that process is. And then if I get time, I'll do another video of the assembly of the crossram injection. So on the bottom of each of the injector plugs, they have this metal clip. You can pull that clip, and as you do, it allows the injector plug to come off. Just make sure that when you remove them, you clip them all back on, because when you reinstall them, you just push them over the top, and that clip pops around there, and it connects that injector plug to it, so it can't come off without removing that little metal clip. You can see here that little metal clip there. That's driver's side off. All those are off. I've removed the coil plug as well. Just move those back out of the way. Should be no issue to be out of the way there. Pull the clip off the throttle cable. You just roll the throttle body back, spin it around so the little round section of the cable pulls out the side. Just leave that to the side somewhere out of the way. Just leave that down there. What else we got here? We have a bolt holding this airbox on. Just put that nut back on the bottom of it. I've already taken these. We have here the MAF sensor, the air intake temperature sensor. That's your binary valve for air conditioning, which I didn't have connected. Leave it off to the side there. Disconnect the other injectors on the opposite side. On the passenger side, or American driver's side. Pop those clips back on there again so we don't lose them. Get those off. Just be very careful with your injector and coil wiring. It gets a little bit hot on the top of the engine here. Cables can become a bit fragile and brittle, so just go easy on them. Just have a feel of them first. If they're nice and soft, you shouldn't have any dramas, but if you're feeling them, they're a little bit crunchy or you can hear stuff cracking. I know mine are okay anyway, because I stripped this harness back, removed the sensors that didn't require, and then rewired it as I needed it. Put that clip back on there too. That's that, that's that. That's out of the way. Pop them around the back over here so they don't foul anything. Fuel system. My one has a little clip on top of it here. Hopefully fuel doesn't come pouring out. Pop the little plastic clip out the side here, which then allows it to come out off the fuel rail. Hopefully that doesn't make it look too stupid and not come out. I do have the right tool in the drawer over there. I'm a bit lazy to go and get it. There we go, it's coming out now. Good, didn't have fuel pour everywhere, just slide it down out of the way. And of course, like I said, fuel's pouring out everywhere. I'll just go and get a rag or something. Put that back on just to block that flow until I get the rag. Give me 2 secs. Alright, what have we got here? There we go, just something to soak up the fuel until you're ready. Drop that hose down there, out of the way. Fuel stops spilling out now, that's good. We have the EGR valve, remove that, pop that up out of the way. We have the throttle position sensor down there, and the those sensors disconnected. I need to take this EGR valve right out. It's on the manifold. Take it out of the way. That's it gone out of the way there. Something just broke off and fell to the floor. I don't know what that is. That's the clip out of the EGR valve. I'll just leave this stuff back here out of the way so I know where it is when I need to get it, if I'm going to use it again. What have we got back here? We've got the map sensor back here. There's a little clip on top of it. You just sort of pull it back and pop the sensor out. Now I've got to work out a way to install that sensor in the engine. It can stay there. That's my hose that normally goes to my brake booster. All these other sensors underneath should be okay down there where they are. What are we going to get? We're going to get this inlet manifold off, or this inlet induction off. Only that screw on that clamp there should be pretty much free to come off now. There we go. Put that over there. What else have we got here? We should be able to get that manifold off. Take that breather off there. It's just crank case of ventilation. We should be right. Should be able to take that off. Let's see if we can just take that injection rail off first. Probably because I need the injectors in the other parts. Let's get this out. What do we need here? Probably 8mm socket, knowing GM. 10mm socket. Good one. 10mm socket. This will probably go rolling down the driveway and a little finer again. Which is why you have spares. Just a couple of brackets hold these on. There's a couple of 10mm nuts. Geez, that one's tight. Really doesn't need to be that tight because it's only holding into plastic. There's like a stud hanging out of these plastic manifolds. So it doesn't need to be that tight because you can actually strip them out. I'm assuming fuel is going to come pouring out again once I separate it from the injectors. I'm pouring out of the rails, so before I remove it I'll grab a old towel. Try and capture all that spilled fuel. Right there, and there. Get that towel. Just an old short towel here. Wipe my hands up when I wash my hands at the end of each night's work. And the brackets that hold down the injection rails, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more bolts holding the injection rail down, which are long series 10mm. So I'll put these sockets back so I don't lose them because it's easy to do. 8mm there, 10mm there. Grab a long series set. Where's 10mm in that? It's probably lost as well. That's 11. What's that one? 9. Of course 10mm not there. Why is it always that bloody socket? There it is, just hiding from me. Hiding because it doesn't want to get lost. I could get the impact driver and undo all these, but it's a pretty simple process. Doesn't actually take too long. These are a weird sort of bolt. That'll bolt in them, and they have like a nut in the middle of it, and they have a thread that sticks out the top as well. So if you kind of look at that, there's the bolt on the bottom section there. So the bolt head tightens up in the manifold, and the bracket fits on top, which holds your like, I don't know, like a rail support that holds the fuel rail down. I guess it holds it and keeps it stiff under any sort of pressure. Right, that's then. There should be two more just here, but these ones at the back here, of course, 8mm. They just support. Where's that 8mm again? They just support the back of the fuel rail. I'm guessing you can blow out or something. There's a bracket on the back here that keeps it all sort of intact. I really don't know. Maybe it's there so you don't smash it into the firewall when you install the engine or something. These bolts also go straight down into the cylinder head. They're in that same line of bolts that go through the manifold into the cylinder head. So you can see here there's a bolt that will show you how long they actually are. They go straight through that manifold into the cylinder head. Put this over here too. For a sec. We will pop this. What will I do? I'll pop these clips off, see if I can leave the injectors in the manifold for now. Has these funny little C-type clips. These little clips here, they push around the fuel rail and under the injector, and they hold the injector in so they can't push out under pressure. They're attached to the rail, and the rail is bolted down to the manifold. So take those clips out. I noticed in that crossram induction set that I bought that it has new clips. I'm not sure on the quality of those. I may have to reuse these ones, or after I cam the engine, maybe put some bigger injectors in and buy some. Maybe it comes with new clips. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that sort of kit yet, but not that hard to pop these clips out. You just got to spin some of them around to get the right spot. Over there out of the way. Get these out of the way so we don't make a mess when the fuel spills out. Alright, see if we can get this off the top of the injector. There we go. Fuel pouring out as I suspected. Out of all of them. Here we go. I'm going to stink like fuel tonight. Better scrub those hands before I have a shower when I get inside. Hard to get that fuel smell off you. Alright. Anyone that knows 5.7 litre engines will know that the injectors are quite long on these. They're there we go, fuel pouring out everywhere. I'll just sit it on this towel on the floor, like I mentioned in a previous video. The product I use on the floor, while it looks pretty good, is really not durable. It just peels off pretty much with fuel on it, so I try to avoid spilling it as much as possible. Just twist each injector. You twist them and lift at the same time. They pull out. I might send these injectors off, get them serviced. They're looking a bit average. You can see for those people that don't pull their injectors out very often, there they are there. That's what it looks like in the end of the plug. A couple of pins in there, and the bottom of the injector. I'm not sure if I can get that to focus or not, but it just has a few tiny little holes out there that the fuel comes out of. What do I count there? Maybe 4 or 5 tiny little injection holes to spray that fuel into the cylinder. these all out, put them somewhere safe. I think these are just the standard injectors by the look of it. They just have a code number on the side. Doesn't say what brand they are. Could read the aftermarket. I'm not sure if they should be Delphi or Bosch brand. Put them down over there until I get them sorted. Now the rest of this fuel. Don't want that pouring through into the engine when I strip it off. Alright, that's clean enough for now. Let's get the rest of these manifold bolts off. Remember, I already took two out of the back that were holding that fuel rail bracket down. They went right through the fuel rail bracket, through the manifold into the cylinder head. Let's get this off here. Take these ones out too. The other side as well. Like I said, I could have used the little impact driver, but it really doesn't take long to do it by hand. And I guess I just want to be careful that I have a sense of feel that to turn these bolts down. They're about 8mm in the shank. If any of them are really tight, I really don't want to turn them too hard and snap the bolt or damage the thread in the head. Take this one off too. I'm pretty sure I probably forgot something when I take this last couple out, and probably won't lift up first go. I'll have another double check. I can already see a crankcase ventilation hose down there that I haven't taken off. I'll have to remove. Down there too. Hopefully this transmission dipstick doesn't get in the way. If it does, I'll just unbolt it and remove it. Also back here, there's one of the these engine lift brackets that I kept there because I had them there when I removed the engine from the car, but don't really need to be there now. I bought some temporary ones that fit into the exhaust manifold brackets or bolt hole brackets on this bracket bolt holes on the side. Let's get that hose off of that crankcase ventilation down here. Which one's the easiest one to get off? Geez, this feels hard and crusty. Hopefully it doesn't break. It's breaking, it's just pulling chunks off it, so I'm just going to snap it off. It's that hard and brittle. You can see that was never coming off. It is supposed to be rubber. It's more like a hard plastic now. It's a standard item. If I want to use that manifold again, I can just purchase another one. Probably about $10. Not too much. We're going to get this underneath here and try and lift it, free it up a bit. The manifold, something's still holding it up. I know what it is. It's the hose for the steam port from the cylinder heads to the radiator. I don't want to undo the other end there because it will empty the radiator. I'd rather take this side off here and keep the hose up high and prevent all the coolant spilling out. I'm going to take two hoses off. It goes in and out. Goes into the bottom of the throttle body here and out the other side. Hopefully it doesn't pour coolant out everywhere. There you go, it's got coolant coming out of it, but it's not pouring out at least. I'll hopefully leave that up here somewhere so it stays there. I can stay there for a few days like that, hopefully. Or I will just put something in it and plug it out. Plug it up. There we go, look at that. Small extension. Put that in there. Cool's leaking out of there, need the pliers. Get that out. Set along those pliers for that hose clamp. Hose clamp is right under here. That's off. It's off there. Let's see if we can get the hose off without damaging too much. I'm not going to worry about it again, I'm just going to cut it. I'm really hoping to never need that again. If I do, I'll put another hose on it. There we go. On engines this old, that have done this much work or had the life this thing's probably had, a lot of the hoses where they mount onto the brackets and stuff are really crusty and old. Sometimes you can battle away with it for ages and achieve nothing. Sometimes it's just easier to cut the thing off and get rid of it. So throw that away. What we're going to do now, we're going to take those knock sensor bungs out of here. Again, these can get a bit crusty over time. There is you see how old it is. I'm lifting it up and it's stripping the core off the outside of the wire, which is not great. Luckily I bought new ones. There is a little bracket down here. You've got to flip the sides of this thing up to get the plug off. So I find it. There we go, that's one. And it broke the side of the knock sensor, which I was expecting, which is why I bought more. There we go, that one's off too, and it broke the side of the knock sensor as well. Top of the knock sensors look like they're made out of porcelain or something. I'll show you inside the knock sensor plugs here. You can see inside the plug there, it has like and hard to see without the right light, it has like an O-ring inside it. The cable, like I said, when I pulled it off the back of these bungs seal moisture out of the top where the knock sensors go. They're like supposed to be rubber. They're hard as some people's hearts. Put that over there, don't need it anymore, but good backup spare if I really need it. So what it's exposed now is you can see the oil pressure senders right here. Cam position sensor is back here. I'll just remove those to get them out of the way. Here you can see the extra ground I put on it to get this thing running right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove those. I actually don't need to remove those knock sensors, but I'll take them out anyway, just to remove them. So in case it's connected underneath, I can't remember if it's actually connected into the block, which I think it is. So let's get the right size socket for that. What have we got there? We have, what is that, 19 mil by the look of it, something like that. No, it's not, it's probably more like a 21 or something. Slightly larger, 22. 22 mil. There we go. That one's loose. That one's loose too. That's out. That's out. So, what you can see is knock sensor. You can see what I was talking about. The top looks like it's porcelain and it's become brittle where I removed the plug and it just broke the sides off. It happened on both of them. I wasn't being too brutal with it, but that's quite hard and brittle over the years. Probably originals there. Don't have any GM markings on them. Maybe they're aftermarket, but luckily those plug seals sealed it really well, and there's no crud or crap down the bores here. They're really clean. I think one of the issues a lot of the guys in the States talk about is because their roads are icy, roads get salted, they get a lot of residue that goes down here and they corrode inside these bores. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out this plate. I might actually do a bit of cleaning or some stuff around these ports here first, because I can see like old broken O-rings. I'm assuming those broken O-rings are from injector changes over the years. I'll remove those, clean the ports up a bit, and then I'll turn it back on and I'll show you when I'm ready to continue. Okay, back after half an hour of cleaning, making sure these mating faces are nice and clean. I just cleaned them off with a bit of white spirits and a rag. Come out pretty well. I think I might leave this old valley cover on for now with the knock sensor position in there. I mean, it's only trial fitting it and making sure the engine runs with this crossram injection on it. I did some filing. I mentioned in the other video that all this casting flash marks in here was what was stopping the manifolds going together. I just trial fit them together on the bench and they fit. Once I ground that off, I actually dressed the sides of these with the flapper disc a bit, not on this one, on the other one, and they sort of fit through. So I'll show you how they fit on the actual engine. So that fits in that position there. Let me just get the bolts for it. These should be the bolts. They're the longest bolts. They come in a kit. they don't even go all the way through the manifold. Do they screw into them holes there? No, they're too small for them. So they don't actually give you the correct length mounting bolts for that manifold. Geez, they're really making me work for this. See what I can find in the bolt box down here. There you go, these are 4 bolts the same. They're too long, but they're the correct thread. So I'll just sort of temporarily mount it to show you how it's going to look. Geez, they've really made these bolt holes tight for these particular bolts. Geez, they could do with maybe a millimetre bigger so you could actually slide them across. I might drill those holes out when I polish up these manifolds, because I'm going to port match the heads to the gasket and the gasket to these manifolds here. I'll need to have a bit of movement in them, so that one goes there. This one goes there. They fit together okay now. Hopefully these bolts are going to work to show you. Yep, that's okay. Gee, the bolt holes are tight, man. They look really well positioned down the hole there, but it really doesn't allow you much side movement. You can't really see the port much. Probably can with a torch. If I had a torch that worked, that'd be good. Doesn't matter. It's only for show now anyway. So that's how the manifolds fit on. I'll grab a couple of, there's three different throttle bodies here, as you can see. One of them has the actual throttle bracket on it, and it has this little T-bar sticking out the back, and I'm assuming the T-bars fit together in here, so when you turn one they all turn together. And the other one has one of these brackets on side for the T-bar to fit into, but the other side is for the throttle position sensor, so we'll have to see how they go and which one fits where. So again, no instructions, so this is just hit and miss for me. That one can't go there because that bracket there hits that manifold. Can't go that way because that doesn't belong at the front, and the throttle bracket is on the wrong side. That can't go there either because it's hitting top of there. Can't go there because it hits. Can't go there because it hits. Oh, this is beginning to really annoy me. Can't fit in any position. I don't know.